Everyone, welcome back to another Polymesh interview. I have with me Matt Andelman, the CEO and co-founder of ABC Tokens. Matt, can you give a brief introduction of yourself and an introduction of ABC Tokens?
Absolutely. So my background, 20 years, nearly 20 years in commercial real estate, everything from development and construction to brokerage and property management. And so, I've done everything from investment sales, focused on mostly multifamily properties. I've also presented before various municipalities, zoning boards, or appearance review committees and city council hearings on new developments, and leased office and retail space. So kind of a full gambit there of commercial real estate experience. And ABC Tokens launched earlier last year, and basically kind of combined my interest and knowledge in commercial real estate with the newest technology, which was blockchain, to offer fractional ownership of commercial real estate to investors.
Awesome. And so ABC Tokens is using Polymesh. Can you walk me through a bit of that journey? How did you come to Polymesh, and what exactly are you using it for?
Early on in my journey, I actually met Sam Proctor. He was the CEO of Genesis Block. And I think his Genesis Block may even be an operator node on the Polymesh blockchain. So he was more or less an advisor, a consultant, we had engaged with to help us through this journey, even through some of the early regulatory concerns that we had, and obviously technology. So he recommended we look into Polymesh, and I feel like the whole ecosystem is still in its infancy here. And we love the team. We liked you. Will Jones we talked to, John Creason helped us too. And you do business with people that you like. And so not only do we love the product, but we love the group over there too.
Thanks for the kind words.
Yeah, of course.
And so with your experience in real estate, why did you decide to go this blockchain route? Was it purely because of the technology? Did you see some specific issues in the world of commercial real estate that you think blockchain can help solve? Can you walk me through that?
Sure. I invested in Bitcoin nearly 10 years ago. I was an early seller too, so I didn't hodl, but
Yeah.
I definitely paid attention to the technology. I caught the crypto bug again in 2017, and obviously my core competency is commercial real estate. But still, on the side, I like to dabble in trading. I actually invested in mining rigs, that were powered by hydroelectricity in the state of Washington in a warehouse with other rigs, mining as a pool, and it would shoot me crypto to my Exodus wallet on a daily basis. And the whole concept and what this technology was bringing to in decentralized finance and Web3 and custody of your digital assets and these exchanges, it was also fascinating. And so I kind of looked at that and thought about, well, what if you could put ownership of something like commercial real estate on blockchain and provide liquidity for people in an asset class that's notoriously illiquid? And let me go a step further and say that in my real estate career, I was early on when I worked for a developer, I saw the profits that were being made in commercial real estate, and I was doing a lot of the grunt work, but I was never offered the opportunity to participate and invest alongside of my boss. And so one goal of mine was always to broaden access and to make it inclusive and allow people to invest alongside me. Another issue I had was when I was a limited partner in a deal. So I invested in a commercial real estate deal with a sponsor or a general partner, but I had no voting, no voting units and no say in what happens. And so I realized, 5 years into it, well, I'm battling an immigration, process here with my fiance. I had a personal need for some of my money to come out of the property. And there was no way to exit without taking a steep discount, because once I tried to shop it around and see if somebody would buy my interest, people smell blood in the water, desperation. And the next thing you know, you're not getting the offers or market value for your interest in the real estate. So liquidity was huge for me too. And then to go a step further, eventually I was a general partner or a sponsor of a deal. And raising capital, I had a small network of potential investors, and I took this deal to, and the deal I eventually struck, this was back in 2013, and it was still a tough market in Chicago, kind of coming out of the recession, and let's say a neighborhood that was up and coming. And so the deal I struck wasn't very favorable to me, even though I found the deal. I did all of the work. I still, the cost of capital was very high. So I thought maybe there's a way to fractionalize the ownership raise the capital at a lesser cost, but still allow sponsors of deals and the limited partners to all benefit from the blockchain technology by creating liquidity where you didn't see liquidity before.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and so we're starting to see that more and more in the blockchain space is real estate specifically being tokenized and fractionalized and being offered to more and more people to make things more inclusive for the investing public to get involved. And so, huge sell, right? It's exciting. We see the benefits, but we still haven't seen trillions of dollars of real estate come onto the blockchain yet. So what do you think are some of these challenges that are preventing, that $1 trillion mark from being hit? And when do you think it will be hit?
I think one is the actual marketplace or the secondary market for these ownership shares in real estate on blockchain. We're talking to some of the major ones, and we're seeing only a few companies listed. The trading volume is, let's say, moderate to be generous, and so we fully believe in the technology and the potential of all of this, but it's just going to take time to create awareness and educate. So when we launched version 2 of our website, we really tried to kind of engage and educate visitors, hopefully eventually converting them to investors in ABC tokens, but more importantly, just educate them on the benefits of using blockchain to record, ownership shares of real estate. And so I also, it's a big, like you said, I mean, there's the global commercial real estate market, I think, is maybe 30 trillion plus. If you include residential in there, you're over 300 trillion. And so it's a huge sandbox. There's a lot of players right now. And I think it's growing, which is awesome. I mean, we see kind of the rising tide raising all ships here. There was just a real estate blockchain summit in Austin, Texas. And, some of the big players like Michael Flight from Liberty Real Estate Fund. I think Ed Nwakadi he may even be using Polymath, I think, for Red Swan or Polymesh. And so we really appreciate, and even Laura Palmatian from Height Zero, they're out there and they're hosting conferences, educating people who are interested in tokenization of real estate. And it's just going to take time just to see the adoption.
Yeah, we're all sitting here very excited for that $1 trillion to happen.
What do you think the number is right now?
I mean, Red Swan's done 2.5 billion. I know you guys are close to that marker. How much? Yeah, actually, can you talk about kind of the size of ABC tokens and where you're at with that?
We're far smaller than Red Swan. I mean, we're hovering around like 750,000 right now, and there's actually a ticker. It's actually a ticker symbol at the top of our website where we want to show people the net asset value of our portfolio. Right. But really, we went through, I mean, there's been a ton of research and due diligence done into the technology, into the legal framework, building a team of commercial real estate professionals, let's say, combined with over 300 years of experience in between acquisitions, dispositions, and finance, nearly $6 billion of real estate transactions executed. So we're very well prepared now for the future, but we also see it, at least for the ABC token and the people we've talked to, we're kind of operating in this like no man's land where traditional real estate people don't yet understand blockchain or care even to learn. They're happy with the way things are done and have been done for a long time. And then the pure crypto enthusiasts, right? The Bitcoiners, etc., we're too boring for them. So, you're not going to see this 1000x return in 30 days investing in ABC tokens. It's meant to be stable and slowly appreciate over time based on the performance of the real estate. But that said, there are other ways for us to attract new investors, and one is distributions. And so I think that's huge if you can kind of put your money where your mouth is, and it's something that we'll probably announce next year, is that if you're holding ABC tokens in your Polymesh wallet, expect distributions based on the cash flowing properties in our portfolio. And if we can show people over time, a 15 or 20% IRR, I mean, that's huge. And I think people, it takes time to build credibility and trust with the investor community. And that's one way that we're going to do it. I think while the whole space matures and these secondary markets mature for tokens.
Yeah, I think the proof is in the pudding for that. And, when you show people, hey, you hold this asset and you are actually receiving, cold hard cash, so to speak, or even if it's stablecoin, cold hard stablecoins.
Mhm.
I think that's really going to change a lot of people's minds. Where the only way they've seen quote yield in the world of crypto is with just getting paid the same asset for staking it and providing some type of security for a network. So yeah, actually getting cash on holding a piece of real estate, I think that's going to change a
Well, I
lot of
mean,
people's perception.
yeah, when I got the newsletter from you guys that you're gonna have this integration with Stably, I mean, my eyes lit up, and I'm like, these guys, they're so you're doing. I mean, I love the team, but you're you're so forward thinking. It's like even before I thought of it, you guys were already doing it, and then it also clicked for me, like, oh, now this is possible.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. So I mean, you've been around for a while now, talking to tons of people, educating tons of people. How do you think things have changed in the world of, commercial real estate on blockchain in the past couple of years?
I think on blockchain, I don't know that I can really speak to that. What others are doing, I know for us, it's been just kind of a grind. We started early on, and I think it took a while for us to educate ourselves on how we wanted to do this and prepare the foundation. And then, we kind of entered a recession here. So we've got rising inflation, interest rates going up. For me, and I've actually kind of been meditating on this and thinking about our core values and value proposition to investors, and the foundation is real estate, right? Like it all comes back to being able to deal source and having a team to execute. And so, we're not in any rush as we raise money by selling tokens. We don't need to go deploy that quickly, right? We're not paid by just buying and selling property. We're paid on the performance of the portfolio. And our compensation is also in ABC tokens as a team, and that aligns our interest with that of our token holders, our investors. And so, I think it's going to be, Q1 or Q2 of next year before we really see prices come down in commercial real estate. It still seems like sellers have an unreal expectation of what their property's worth, and buyers just, like us, aren't in a rush to acquire property just to buy property. And during that time, you've got secondary markets like T0 or OPM or securitize, and you guys all telling the gospel here of tokenization and all of the benefits. And we see over time that this is going to mature. More people are going to understand. They're going to dip their toe in the water. They're going to feel comfortable, and then hopefully regulation catches up too. Because right now you talk about the Securities Act in 1933 and 1934 and the Investment Company Act in 1940, and these are ancient documents, right? And I think regulation follows innovation, and we want to be on the forefront. And I think eventually, the SEC and the regulatory authorities will catch up.
Yeah, talking about regulation, how are you guys positioned in the market? Are you guys a broker dealer? Are you an investment advisor? And how are you thinking through potentially some of those licenses or leveraging other players, when you're doing secondary trading and whatnot?
We're the issuer of a security. And so when we talk about being an SEC, regulated digital asset security, a digital asset because it's a crypto token on blockchain, right? And then a security because of the Howey test. And I think it's considered an investment contract if it's an investment of money in a common enterprise with the expectation of profit and derived from the effort of others. And so that's us. We are a security, so we need to follow securities laws. And so we look at it as, how would we want to do this? Well, we're going to verify people's identities. We're going to verify that they're accredited investors. We're going to have them actually sign a token purchase agreement. For real estate folks, you could consider that like a subscription agreement. And we can have only, because we filed a 506C with the Security and Exchange Commission, we can generally solicit our offering. And we have a confidential offering memorandum with all of the required disclosures to investors. So again, like it's been a grind putting all of this together, but the foundation is built, and we see that as adoption occurs down the road, ABC will grow with that too.
Yeah, crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's can sometimes take a very, very long
It
time
takes
to
time and
do,
money.
as
Yeah.
we're aware of. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And so outside of real estate, what other exciting areas do you see in terms of security tokens? Have you been following the general market at all? You know, are you looking at any bond deals coming in? And are you guys at ABC Token 100% real estate? Always going to be 100% real estate? How does that play into the picture?
ABC tokens will be 100% real estate. I think the OpCo, and we haven't really gotten into how we're structured, but the OpCo ABC FinTech, which manages the platform, I could see one day potentially being involved in digital asset securities outside of real estate, although that's not the intention right now. But because we kind of built this platform, it may be able to be used in other ways. I think me personally, I see like a group of friends, maybe you have somebody who can run a bar. You've got a good cook, somebody who could do the front office, the accounting and finance, and like you could tokenize the ownership of a bar or restaurant. I just think that would be so cool, among some friends and family. And what I love about blockchain is just the proof of ownership and thinking about how easy it is to say, okay, I have in my digital wallet the ABC token. There's no question what that is and what that means. It's it's immutable, it's transparent. You can and then the transfer from one person to another, peer to peer, is also what I think is really valuable. Forward thinking here, I realized for securities you need transfer agents right now, and that kind of brings us into a whole nother conversation. But the blockchain to one day replace the need for a transfer agent, and maybe even title insurance companies for real estate. So again, when we think about building a portfolio of commercial property and fractionalizing that ownership, it only made sense to me with my experience of blockchain to do it on chain.
Yeah, I spoke at a Colliers event, I think maybe 2018, and afterwards it was just kind of like, who is that weird kid? Okay, yeah, move on next. But it's finally starting to change now, a few years later. But yeah, it's still very early days, and still a ton of room to grow in the space for ABC as well as everybody else, of course. A question on your investors: are they all in the US? Is it global? How are you guys thinking about that in terms of the platform?
We are currently have only U.S. investors. We're I guess you could say we launching a Reg S offering, which allows for qualified international investors to invest. It really hasn't been our focus as of late. I think I kind of go back to the real estate being the foundation. And while yes, we want to grow and we want to sell ABC tokens to investors and raise money, that's important. We're still a small team. And we're lean and we're nimble and we're figuring things out in a way that's going to benefit both us as the issuer of the security, but also our investors. And I think and let the market mature a little bit at the same time. And so while it would be great to have international investors participate right now, it hasn't really been our focus in terms of like marketing effort or anything.
Got it. And then do you have any advice for investors looking to get into real estate, looking to get into tokenized real estate, fractionalized real estate, anything to mention there?
Well, you have a number of options. I think Accrue should be looked at. I think Solid Block should be looked at. There's a number of others. I'm sure if you just Google real estate tokenization platforms, you can find opportunities to invest. But again, I think real estate is historically been a very long-term investment, especially commercial real estate. And so I don't think somebody should think of it as I'm going to buy these and flip them and make a bunch of money tomorrow. I think if you're going to invest in this, figure it's a year plus before you really see the kind of liquidity that we all want to see and the returns you might want from your investment. Or think of it as an even longer term investment. Think of it as a 5 or 10-year investment and let the whole space mature, let demand increase, and let more liquidity be provided as time goes on with more users and people participating in the tokenization of real estate.
For sure. So last question, where can people find out more about ABC tokens?
Google ABC tokens. I'm LinkedIn, Matt Andelman, and I know I had a couple questions for you. You mind if I ask a couple?
Yeah, no, yeah, go for it. I was excited that you did. Please.
Okay, cool. Hang on a second. Well, I guess we touched on Stably. I think as far as what we've noticed with Polymesh, and early on, the onboarding process was kind of clunky, which wasn't a surprise. I mean, you guys were a fairly new company and building your technology too. Sorry, now I gotta come back and find you. But what we would love to see in the future, and whether it's in a year, 5 years, whatever, but kind of like a single sign-on, right? And maybe let users who have security tokens that were issued on the Polymesh blockchain hold them other places than the Polymesh wallet. And one wallet that came to mind was Exodus. I think that's a universal wallet. And I was just curious if what the plans are in the future for Polymesh to.
Yeah, so with our grant program, I believe we are very close to potentially getting another wallet to support Polymesh as well. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we want more and more wallets to support security tokens. I saw one thing I always think about is money is pointless. Money is to solve the coincidence of wants, right? The double coincidence of wants. I want your cow, you want my chicken. You know, we use cash in exchange instead of giving you 5 chickens, you know, for a cow or whatever. What I think is going to eventually happen once everyone decides, yeah, okay, blockchain technology is real, it exists, it's secure, you can use it to store value, you can use it to store anything, you can use it to record ownership. I don't need to have US dollars. I don't need to have Canadian dollars. I could maybe have something like Bitcoin where, you know, it's a store of value. There's a fixed and finite supply. But ultimately, I just want, you know, 10 buildings in New York. I want 5 buildings in Hong Kong. I want 3 buildings in London. And I want fractional ownership in all of those. And I want fractional ownership in tech stocks that I like. I want fractional ownership of some bonds that I like. I want fractional ownership in my favorite sports team, and that's how I want to store my wealth. And so eventually, something like an Exodus wallet, I could just store my wealth in that. And when you say, "Hey, I bought you a beer yesterday, can you pay me back?" I just pay you back for the beer, you know, in whatever unit we decide is equivalent. So pay me back in 5, you know, I don't know, space dollars. Who knows what it's called at that point in time? But eventually, that's where it's going to get. I don't need to have dollars sitting in a wallet so that I can pay you. I just have our fractional units of my buildings, like I was mentioning. And then you, in your wallet, you specify your predetermined asset mix of what you like holding your wealth in. And maybe it's all real estate. Whereas I'm more like 50% real estate or something like that. And then my wallet automatically communicates with your wallet. I send 5 space dollars, but that gets automatically translated into the real estate tokens that you like, which are purchased on the open market. So that's ultimately how I see this world going. And that's what I get really excited about is, okay, how can I store my wealth and be confident that it's not going to be inflated away in the assets that I actually care about? And so that's something that I'm really excited about. So that was a really long-winded way of saying is do we have an Exodus wallet integration? No, but those are the kinds of things that I get excited about and that our team gets excited about.
And could be on the roadmap, I assume. And yeah. Well, yeah, and I guess, I mean, you talk about just the government control of money, and that's kind of a philosophical conversation here. But I mean, you know, I think about ABC tokens too in that way, and I'm a Bitcoin supporter, and just thinking about you know, inflation and interest rates, and you know, do you want your government or any government to control, you know, the supply of money and the monetary policy? And it just, I think the future of crypto and blockchain and DeFi. Well, let's get into DeFi for a second here. What you talked about in terms of the space dollars and the digital wallets connecting, and some is fractional ownership in real estate, because those are securities, right? And they're regulated. The future you're thinking of it is one where there's no need really for a transfer agent to, or is it even considered a security to go back and forth between 2 people?
Yeah, so I don't know, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't know exactly how that world of regulations pans out, but that's what I want to happen. Right?
And so you
Yeah.
also would want to see some kind of interaction between the Polymesh digital wallet. And would you consider it a Web3 wallet?
Yeah,
Is it
yeah, I'd
digital
call it
wallet?
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. And
I guess.
so some kind of interaction with the DeFi world. And is there anything right now happening where you could say Polymesh is interacting with decentralized finance?
Yeah, so we've actually done another grant as well for a company that's potentially, we're recording this September 28th. I think the news is going to come out in maybe a couple of weeks from now. So I might actually be breaking this live in our interview. But yeah,
Okay.
we've made a grant available to a team who's building out an automated market maker and a DEX.
Mhm.
So the idea, stable integration, DEX integration, ABC tokens exist. How are people going to potentially purchase those with dollars, sell those for dollars? This is some of the
Mhm.
infrastructure that we're hoping gets taken advantage of. And so it's still early days in terms of DeFi ecosystems on Polymesh, but that's kind of step one.
Well, that's huge. And again, because we're seeing the trading volume on these secondary markets for security tokens is very low. This is one way for people to, I say, peer-to-peer transfer ABC tokens between one another and put some value on them, but then kind of the off ramp, right? Like, how do I get out of ABC tokens and into something I can actually spend? So
Yep.
that's
And
that's
and that's
wonderful to
one of the
hear.
beauties. Yeah, that's one of the beauties of blockchain is in the legacy world, I have to go to the New York Stock Exchange to get liquidity. That's
Mhm.
really the only way I can do it. You mentioned when you were trying to get out of the deal, you instantly get destroyed on valuation because someone goes, okay, well, I can squeeze you as much as I want because I'm really the only game in town. And Blackstone tells you the price, that's the price. But now we can have this infrastructure like a decentralized exchange where folks can trade still in a compliant manner, peer to peer, on something like a bulletin board, where that's
Mhm.
really the only liquidity that's required for a lot of assets, especially something like real estate, where the valuation is not changing drastically every single day.
Mhm.
And so someone can post, I'm willing to sell 30 shares for $50,000, and someone goes, yeah, that sounds reasonable. Clicks a button, accepts, trade executed, settled instantaneously on blockchain. That's the really exciting stuff that I'm really looking forward to.
Likewise. Thanks for doing what you're doing for all of us real estate folks out there.
Yeah, well, we need you guys too. If there's a blockchain and nothing happening on it, it's not all that exciting. Matt, I think we'll end it there in terms of the interview. Any last comments or anything you would like to share with the viewers?
No, I appreciate you having me again. And I guess we look forward to all the things that Polymesh will accomplish in the future, and love to be a part of it.
Same for us to ABC tokens. So yeah, thanks, Matt. Thanks everybody for listening. I'll put in the description on this YouTube video all the links so you can find out more about ABC tokens. We'll leave it there. Thanks everybody. Bye.
Great. Yeah. Thanks. Bye.